If you're trying to figure out when Social Security and disability benefits are going to be paid for December 2023, this video is for you. I'm going to give you the exact dates when those payments are going to hit your bank account. Also, you want to stay till the end of this video. I have an important update. About 1 million people on Social Security and disability are at risk of having their benefits suspended, according to a recent 60 Minutes episode. And I'm going to give you the full details and what you need to know if you're affected, so that when you receive that letter from the Social Security Administration, you know exactly what you need to do. So let's jump right into it. So here's what I want to cover today. Up to $4,555 in payments are arriving soon for Social Security beneficiaries, including SSDI. Now, for those of you on SSI payments, you're going to get double payments in December. One is going to start at the beginning of the month. One is going to be at the end of the month. I'm going to give you the exact dates. Also, President Biden has a plan to change Social Security benefits in 2024. And I'm going to explain that because experts have identified 3 problems with Biden's plan. Now, this plan that the president is proposing is going to affect everybody on Social Security and disability. So you want to stay for this and the update that I have about that. And then finally, as I told you, 1 million people are at risk of losing their Social Security and disability benefits. This is big, and the letters are going out. 1 million letters are being sent by the Social Security Administration. You want to make sure that you are not impacted, and if you are, exactly what you need to do. So I'm going to give you details about that. So if you are new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button. All we do with this channel is bring you the latest news and updates about anything in and out of Congress that may affect your Social Security or disability benefits. So let's get right to it. So here is the payment schedule for Social Security and disability, including SSI. So let's start with Social Security benefits. Here is how it works. If you're on Social Security and SSDI disability, your payments are based on a specific birth date and a Wednesday. So if your birthday is between December 1st and December 10th, you're going to receive your benefits on the second Wednesday of the month. If you're on Social Security and SSDI and your birthday is between the 11th and the 20th, you are going to get your benefits on the third Wednesday of the month. If your birthday is between the 21st and the 31st of December and you're on SSI, Social Security and SSDI, your payments are going to be on the fourth Wednesday of the month. So what does this specifically mean for you? Well, let's look at SSI benefits before we get into the actual payment dates. For those of you on SSI benefits, your payments are always sent on the first of the month, unless that date falls on a weekend or a holiday, at which point you will be paid the business day before. And then there's a whole category of other people who get their benefits on the third of each month. There are those who live outside the United States who get benefits, those who receive SSI and Social Security benefits together. If your state pays for your Medicare premiums, you're going to get your benefits on the third of the month. And then finally, if you file for Social Security before 1997, you always get your payments on the third of the month, unless the third falls on a weekend or a holiday. So here are the actual Social Security SSDI payment dates for December. If your birthday falls between the 1st of December and the 10th, your benefits will arrive on December the 13th, which is the second Wednesday of the month. If your birthday is between the 11th and the 20th, you'll get your benefits on December the 20th. And if your birthday is between the 21st and the 31st of December, your Social Security and SSDI benefits arrive on December the 21st, which is right after Christmas. So how about SSI benefits? Well, since Friday, December 1st, is a weekday and a business day, you're going to get your benefits on December 1st as scheduled. Now, if you are on SSI and Social Security, if you live outside the US, if your state pays for your Medicare premium, or you file for Social Security benefits before 1997, you're going to get your benefits on December 1st also, because your usual payment date, which is December the 3rd, is on a Sunday. And as I mentioned, if it falls on a Sunday or a weekend or a holiday, your payments are made the business day before. And in this case, that is Friday, December the 1st. Also, as I mentioned, SSI recipients are going to get double payments in December. So December the 29th, Friday, you're going to get your January payment in December. So January 1st is a holiday. So the second SSI payment is going to come in Friday, December the 29th, right before New Year's Day. So that is how your payments are going to come in for December. Now, if you do not receive your benefits, here's what you need to do. The first step you need to take whenever your benefits don't come in is to wait 3 additional business days. Why is that important? Because according to the Social Security Administration, that is the appropriate amount of time to wait, because it may be a technical issue. There may be a problem with your wire transfer with your bank. And so waiting 3 additional business days is very prudent. Now, if you wait 3 business days and nothing happens, your payment does not come in, call the Social Security Administration at this number, 1-800-772-1213. You can also log in online. If you have a My Social Security account online, if you've created one, you can log in and see the reason why your payment has been blocked. As I mentioned, a lot of people are having problems with their benefits being suspended because of overpayment. So stay tuned. I'm going to talk about that, because that may be the reason why your payments haven't come in, or your payments may have been canceled entirely because you may have violated a Social Security rule which has caused you to lose your benefits. You can find out that information online. You can call the Social Security Administration, or you can visit a Social Security office near you to find out what is going on and why you did not receive your benefits. So let's continue here. So as I mentioned, President Biden has come up with a plan to fix Social Security and disability benefits. And you may be asking, why is that even necessary? Well, the president wants to spend $273 billion to fix Social Security and extend its survivability, because currently, the way Social Security is, if nothing is done, the Social Security Trust Fund is going to experience problems soon. So Republicans are putting up a plan. The president has put up a plan on what he thinks should be done in 2024 to fix, and it's going to affect everybody. Whether you're on benefits or whether you're about to receive benefit, everybody is going to be impacted by the president's plan. So let me walk you through it and then tell you what the experts are saying, the 3 fatal flaws of his plan and what you need to know about that. So, as we all know, Social Security is a very important program. 9 out of 10 people, 9 out of 10 seniors rely on Social Security benefits. And it also has lifted a lot of people out of poverty, because a lot of seniors, about 4 in 10 seniors, rely solely on Social Security as their main source of income. But because of demographic shifts, the baby boomer generation retiring in record numbers, $22 trillion in funding, that's a shortfall in funding with the Social Security Trust Fund. So what does this mean? Well, the president has put together a 4-part plan. And I'm going to walk you through exactly what the president's plan is, how it is going to affect you. And then I'm going to tell you what experts are saying about what is wrong with his plan that you need to know about, because this is something that may affect everybody. So the first part of the president's plan is to increase the payroll taxation on high income earners. Second is to change how the cost of living adjustment is done. If you're on Social Security or disability, you know about COLA. He wants to change how COLA is calculated so that people can get more benefits. He wants to increase the special minimum benefit and then raise the primary insurance amount for people at a certain particular age. So let's walk through what all this means specifically. So the first part of the plan is to increase the payroll taxes. Well, currently, the way the Social Security system is funded is through payroll taxes, 12.4%. So if you make up to $160,200 in 2023, you have to pay payroll taxes. What the president is proposing is to bring back another level of taxation that was gotten rid of recently. So previously, in addition to paying the 12.4% on $160,200 in taxes, if you make more than $400,000, you will pay additional payroll taxes. Well, that was gotten rid of. The president wants to bring that back. So what's going to happen is that you're going to have people who make up to $160,200 pay payroll taxes, and then people who make about $400,000 or more also pay payroll taxes. So there's going to be a gap in the middle where if you make between $160,200 and $400,000, you don't pay additional payroll taxes. That is called the donut hole. And the way they want to close that, eventually the president's goal is to make sure that everybody pays. Everybody pays payroll taxes. And he wants to close that donut hole also through the National Average Wage Index. Every year, that wage index is increased so that slowly that donut hole will be closed so that eventually everybody who makes money, who works, will pay payroll taxes. And that is his plan, to bring in more money into the payroll system, into the Social Security Trust Fund, because currently more money is being taken out than is being put in. So that is his plan to increase the survivability of the payroll plan. Number two, which is very, very critical, is change how COLA is calculated. Currently, your cost of living adjustment is calculated using the Consumer Price Index for wage earners and clerical workers. Now, the problem with that is that urban wage earners and clerical workers are not those who are on Social Security benefits. So using their inflation, the goods and services that affect them, to calculate inflation for seniors looks like a very misplaced thing, because the cost and things that affect seniors, prescription drug, healthcare, does not necessarily affect urban wage earners and clerical workers, because they are not at the age where a huge proportion of their income is spent on these things. So the president wants to change this index to what is called the CPI-E. The E stands for elderly, so that they will track goods and services that are used by the elderly, people 62 or over. And if there's been a change in that each year, then you will get a better cost of living adjustment upwards, because the current CPI that is used, the CPI-W, does not reflect truly the cost that affects seniors. And so seniors have been in a situation where their Social Security and disability benefits is never catching up to inflation, the true inflation that they face. It doesn't catch up because they're always behind and their purchasing power is always being reduced. Number three, increase the special minimum benefit. What does this mean? This is very important. I feel like this is the biggest and most important part of the president's plan. So currently, once you qualify for Social Security benefits, it means that you've worked enough to be able to qualify. There is a minimum benefit you can get, because some people don't make enough money so that when their Social Security benefits are calculated, it is very low. So Congress passed a law that allows each person, regardless of how much money you made, to be able to get a minimum benefit. So even if they calculated your Social Security benefits and it fell below that minimum, you will still get the minimum. Well, that minimum benefit is actually really low. So if you depend on that minimum benefit for a living, if that's the only source of money you get in retirement, it is a big, big issue, because it puts a lot of seniors in poverty. What the president is proposing is to increase that minimum benefit to 125% of the federal poverty level. Let me explain. So currently, the special minimum benefit is $1,033. Next year, 2024, is going to go up by $33 to $1,066. If you're on Social Security and all you get is the minimum benefit, you are only getting $1,033. You can see how this is problematic, because how can you live on $1,033 if Social Security is your only source of income? So the president wants to increase this with his plan, where the special minimum benefit will be linked to 125% of the federal poverty level. Each year, the federal government releases what they call the federal poverty line. It shows what the government considers as poverty. So what income are you making that puts you in that category? Well, for 2023, for a single person, is $14,580. For a family of 4, is $30,000. For a family of 7, is $45,420. You're considered to be living in poverty. Well, the president wants to increase the special minimum benefit to 125% of the federal poverty level. So in today's dollars, in today's poverty table, that means that you will get $18,225, which is better than the $12,402. So what does that look like? Well, if this is passed, if this law is passed, if you're on the special minimum benefit, you're going to get $18,225. And on a monthly basis, that means that you're getting $1,518. So previously you're getting $1,066. Now you'll be getting $1,518. That is a 47% increase in the special minimum benefit. This is a huge deal for people who are on Social Security, who rely solely on Social Security and are getting the minimum benefit allowable. So that is a big deal. Lastly, the president wants to raise what is called the primary insurance amount. This is particularly a problem that faces people who are aged 78 to 82 years. What does this mean? When you get to this age, the data shows that your expenses, healthcare expenses, increases. And so people on Social Security who are at this age, all of a sudden find themselves spending a lot of their Social Security benefits on medical care, prescription drugs, etc. What the president wants to do is boost their income for people who are at that age by 5% by increasing the primary insurance amount. What is the primary insurance amount? When Social Security calculates everybody's Social Security benefits, there is a baseline upon which they start. And then on that baseline, they add other things depending on how much money you made, how many years you worked in to qualify for Social Security. All those things are added on top of that. Well, he wants to boost the primary insurance amount for people who are age 78 to 82 during that period, so that they will get more benefits because their primary insurance amount will go up at that age. It is supposed to address this increased cost of benefit that people in this category face during that season of their life. So again, it's supposed to put more money in people's pockets that need it. So that's the president's plan. Obviously, it's going to cost money, but it's going to help a lot of people, especially changing the way COLA is calculated, increasing the PIA, increasing the special minimum benefit, which I think is the most important part of the plan, and also increasing the payroll taxes so that more money will come into the system to be able to then make sure that the Social Security Trust Fund has a longer shelf life. Well, some experts are saying that there is fatal flaws, and that is a very strong word, but I am quoting this article from the Motley Fool. There are 3 fatal flaws of the president's plan, and they think that it may not have the effects that he wants. So let's look at those fatal flaws that is being claimed. The first one is that there is a belief that if you make people who make $400,000 or more pay more payroll taxes, all they're going to do is shift their income elsewhere. So people who make high income, people who make a lot of money, they have multiple sources of income, and they can decide where they want to take their income. Whether they want to take it from dividend payments from stocks, or they want to take it from as a salary from their business, or as a salary from their company. There's a lot of options. So if you make them pay payroll taxes on money $400,000 or over, maybe they would decide to pay themselves less than $400,000 and take the rest of their income from dividends because they don't want to pay income taxes. So the goal here is that people are going to shift their money around to avoid having to pay additional taxes. That's the first thing. Second, the president's plan extends the Social Security Trust Fund by 5 years. Now, that may not sound like a lot, but 5 years is a lot of time for Congress to then do more. But what experts are saying is that that is not sufficient, that his plan should go further, and rather than having a short-term 5-year increase, he should try to go further and want to increase the Social Security Trust Fund more than 5 years by taking more action, which obviously is going to cost more money. And the third part, probably the most important part of the plan that people are criticizing, is that it has to pass Congress. And today's divided Congress, nothing goes through. I mean, essentially nothing is agreed upon. If they want to make any progress on something big, it's so much work. And so the idea is that you need bipartisan support to make this happen. So how is the president going to get that? So here is what is being encouraged. How can the president get his plan over the line? Well, the first thing is to have bipartisan committee to look into this and come up with a compromise so that Republicans and Democrats come together to do this. I don't see how that's going to be possible. I mean, that doesn't really happen often these days. But the biggest part is that they want the president to sell his plan and also have people in Congress pitch the plan because it's going to affect everybody. If you're on Social Security, this is going to affect you. And so if you're about to receive Social Security, it's going to affect you. And Social Security cannot stay the way it is right now. It is impossible because it's going to run out of money. So something has to be done. And the only people that can do something about it is Congress and the president together, because Congress has to pass a law, the president has to sign it. And so the idea is that more public awareness needs to be done where, Congress is getting in front of people, the Democrats are getting in front of people, the president is getting in front of people to pitch the idea to make sure people understand specifically what is about to happen to Social Security benefits that is going to affect everybody. So that is the president's plan and what critics are saying about his plan. So now I'm going to go to the third item on my list. So let's look at the third thing I wanted to talk about regarding Social Security, which is the biggest story from 60 Minutes about overpayments. Anderson Cooper from CNN did a 60-minute story that I think is something that everybody receiving Social Security needs to be aware of. And the title of it alone is really jarring. It's our mistake is your responsibility. Essentially saying that if the Social Security Administration makes a mistake, it is still your responsibility as a Social Security disability recipient to be aware of it and fix it. Let's get into it. So, as we know, 71 million people receive Social Security benefits. But each year, about 1 million people get letters from the Social Security Administration talking about overpayments, which means that the Social Security Administration is alerting you that they've paid you more money than you deserve and that you need to pay it back within 30 days. If you don't, they're going to take your benefits or part of your benefits or suspend it altogether. So let's look at what has happened and what this 60-minute story is about. So they profiled three people that were affected by this on Social Security and disability benefits. So I'm going to walk you through that. So the first couple is Stephen and Becky Sword. Now, here's their story. So they live in Chicago, and they received a letter from the Social Security Administration that they owe $51,887, and they need to pay it back in 30 days. Yes, they were given 30 days to pay $51,887. Now, they're both in their 60s. The husband, Stephen, has an illness that put him on disability benefits. And he was also working while receiving disability benefits. And if you're on disability and you're working, you're supposed to be sending your pay records and your earnings so that your disability benefits will be adjusted accordingly because you're making more money. Well, they said they sent all these records to the Social Security Administration. They have receipts of when they faxed all this information, and yet he was hit with the $51,887 overpayment and had 30 days to pay it. They appealed to the Social Security Administration. They applied for a waiver. They were all denied. So what ended up happening is that their life saving that they have left, about $60,000, they were about to give all of that to the Social Security Administration to deal with this issue and be done with it. So if you receive a letter from the Social Security Administration about overpayment, I'm going to explain to you the three options you have to be able to address this. So let's get to the second story. Obviously, this caused them a lot of stress because, it wasn't their fault. The Social Security Administration was getting all the information that they needed to be able to recalculate their benefits, but they kept getting benefits, and then all of a sudden they get hit with this bill. The second story is from Jean and Glenn, and their story is even more bizarre. So here's what happened. So Glenn, Jean is the one on Social Security, and she was receiving benefits for when she started. So they're both on benefits, but she started receiving hers 6 years ago. Social Security apparently calculated her benefits incorrectly. So when she started receiving benefits, the check she was getting was more than she should be getting. Apparently, Social Security mixed up the wage records or her earnings records. And so they used the wrong earnings records to calculate her Social Security benefits. So she was getting money, more money than she deserves. And so Social Security hit her with a $72,000 bill that she has to pay. According to 60 Minutes, she has to pay it back. What they did is what is shocking. They suspended her Social Security benefits. She hasn't received Social Security benefits in 2 years. Why? Because the Social Security Administration is using her money to pay back the $72,000 mistake that they made. They're clawing it back. And then the third story is even more bizarre. This is a story of Roy Farmer, who, when he was young on disability benefits, apparently he got more money than he deserved. So now in his adulthood, Social Security wants the money back. So when he was young, he had cerebral palsy. And at age 11, Social Security realized that they were paying him more. Now, they didn't realize that when he was 11. They realized that when he was an adult. And then in his 20s, they sent him a letter because they said they figured that he's making money, he's working, and he can pay the money back. So when he was 11 years old, they figured that he was no longer medically eligible for benefits, but his mother received $4,920 too much. Meanwhile, his mother has died, and the agency is insisting that he pays the money back because they believe that he makes enough money to pay back. This is something that happened when he was young. And the money even didn't come to him. It went to his mother to take care of him. And then now in his adulthood, when he's just trying to live and make things work, they want to take his pay or wants him to figure out a way to pay $4,920 back. So, what should you do if you receive an overpayment letter? Well, the Social Security Administration is pushing this because they have $21.6 billion they have to recover in overpayments. So if you get a letter from the Social Security Administration that you've overpaid, there are 3 options that you have. 1, you can appeal. Appeal means that you are saying that you want them to relook at this situation. Number 2, you can request a waiver. A waiver means that you're asking the Social Security Administration to forgive the debt because you're telling them that if they take a portion of your benefits or all of your benefits to pay back the overpayment, it's going to cause you severe financial stress. But what is happening is that a lot of people will apply for waivers and request appeals, and then they are denied. A large majority of them are denied. And there are no rules by which the Social Security Administration is playing fair other than the fact that you owe money and they want it back. Sometimes it's their mistake, but there's often no accountability to hold them responsible. So they put it on beneficiaries and send all these letters, threatening letters to people to try to get the money back. This is also happening against the backdrop that there are more people receiving Social Security and disability benefits than ever, but the staff level at the Social Security Administration has fallen to an all-time low. So they have less people working there, more people getting benefits, and so when there are issues like people appealing overpayments, people are asking for a waiver, those things are not dealt with the way they should if they had proper staffing levels. So what experts are saying is that Congress needs to pass a law to put a statute of limitation on overpayments. It means that, if you've been overpaid for a while, they cannot just come to you years later and say you need to pay all this money back. And also, they need to restructure the way overpayments are done, because the current policy where they take all your benefits or a huge part of your benefits or suspend your benefit to be able to pay this back is people who are vulnerable. I mean, people on Social Security, most of them are on fixed income. People on disability do not have other sources of income coming in. That's why they are on disability benefits. So to send them a letter to pay $50,000, $70,000, Nobody has that kind of money sitting around if you are receiving Social Security, especially if you depend on it as a big source of your income every single month. So the point is that Social Security needs to relook at this and decide a better plan on helping people who are facing overpayments and how to deal with it. So, if you look at the last few years, Social Security has been very aggressive in trying to get money back. From 2017 up to 2022, they collected $3.3 billion in 2022. So every year they've been trying to claw that money back, and they still have $21.6 billion left. Why are they doing this? Well, it's because also the Social Security Trust Fund is going to run out of money in 2035. So 2035, we're going to have problems. So they're trying to get every money they can back into the system. But this is just chump change considering the big shortfall that Social Security faces. Collecting overpayments is not going to make a big dent. Congress has to pass new laws to change Social Security and fix the issue and extend the lifeline and the shelf life of Social Security. This is a Congress issue. And pursuing vulnerable population for overpayments that most of them did not even know was happening, and it's probably even not their fault. A lot of experts are saying it's not a good policy and a good way for the Social Security Administration should be operating and putting pressure on people. Now, here is the final wrinkle to this overpayment issue. So the three people that were featured on 60 Minutes, when Social Security realized that these three stories are going to be featured on 60 Minutes on TV, even though they've denied these people already, appeals have been filed, they denied it. Overpayments waivers were sent, they denied it. Because these three families appeared on 60 Minutes, Social Security all of a sudden did a reverse and forgave all the three people's debt, which is good for the three people that were featured. But then the question is, how about the million people who are getting these letters, who are stressing over this and have been trying to get this resolved? Are their debt going to be forgiven? Does it only take being on national television to get your Social Security overpayment, which some may not be even your fault, to be forgiven? So that is a very big question that is hanging over this. But 60 Minutes brought a lot of attention to this story, and Congress, as I mentioned previously, Congress is drawing a lot of scrutiny on this, and they brought the head of the Social Security Administration for a hearing in Congress to talk specifically about this overpayment issue, because it's been in the press a lot, and they are trying to get ahead of it and figure out why are vulnerable populations being forced to do this. So that is all I have to cover today. If you have any questions, please ask us in the comment section below. If you are new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button. All we want to do is bring you the latest news and updates on Social Security benefits. Anything that may affect your benefits, we want to be the first to bring it to you. So hit the notification button so that you'll be the first to know. So until we see you in the next video, thank you for watching.